Matt. Welcome to Nightbreed. Thanks for coming on. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Cheers, man. Much appreciated, and happy to talk a bit of shit with you and all the rest
Yeah,
of it.
beautiful.
So yeah,
Good
all
to
good.
hear. Excellent. So I guess the main thing we're talking about the new Werewolves album, but before we get into that, if it's cool, I want to ask you about a couple other bands, if that's all right.
Yeah, man, totally.
Yeah, easy. So I guess like you're playing with the Bremlin, and that had that awesome album come out a couple of years back now. What's going on with the band at the moment?
Well, we've obviously, that. So we did that album, and then pretty much instantly everything went into the whole COVID sort of lockdown and no one knowing what's happening and all that sort of business.
Mm.
So yeah, for that sort of 2 years, we didn't play any shows, and we released the album, which did really well. Like I think we sort of sold out of however many CDs we pressed, and then we sold a lot of vinyl, and we wound up getting some sort of deal with I forget who it was, someone overseas, and they repressed the album and all that sort of business. So yeah, we didn't do anything for ages, and so the first show back was the Adelaide thing. What was it called? I'm so hopeless. The New Dead Festival, yeah. So we played that just recently, and yeah, it was awesome. That was really cool. Great to play again, and I think people were sort of pretty sort of ravenous for live music, because it was really noticeable. Like the crowd was just having it. So that was really good. We've got a bunch of shows sort of booked in and coming up. And I don't think anyone will mind me saying any of the guys, but yeah, we're pretty much in the midst of sort of writing another album. So, or to be honest, we're in the midst of recording another album. It's all written, and yeah, the drums are done, half the guitars are done, and yeah, so a combination of booking and playing a few shows around the country to sort of support, Never Enough Snuff, and at the same time getting the next release sort of hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah, good. It's an exciting time for that band, which is cool. It's good to be playing again, hanging out with those guys. They're all a lot of fun. So it's good. It's good stuff, man.
No, nice. Good to hear. And I was going to ask too, like, you were UK based for a while, yeah, and playing with Aquacock and everything. Like, how was that? That must have been pretty, different from Victoria, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that all came about because like a long time ago. So like I played with the Berserker, and we travelled a lot. We went to we spent like nearly 6 months away from home in one sort of swoop, which is pretty full on. And I guess after all that, doing a tour of the States, then Europe, then the States again, then back to Europe, and being away and all that sort of business, I came back to Oz, and it kind of just felt a bit dead, So I didn't really have any band at the time that was doing much. The Berserker sort of fell apart, or not fell apart, but it sort of became inactive maybe. And I was like, fuck it, I enjoy my time in the UK, so I'll go there. So it just sort of happened one day. I just decided one day, I was like, fuck it, I can get a British passport, so I'll just go there, and try and join a band or do something. So I bought a one-way flight to go there, and then luckily I got the ACT gig. So, I got over there and joined a band, and we were doing a fair bit of stuff. We were recording straight away and doing a lot of shows and tours and stuff. So it was really good. It's a great experience to go and live in London. It's a pretty full-on sort of place. It's just busy and pretty. There's a lot of people that live there. Like in London, I remember at some point I was telling someone that the population of Australia at one point is basically the population of London, and it was good, but it's nice to sort of be back here after 10 years of that. I sort of come back to Oz, and it's a little bit more chilled here, which which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, music's good here now. Well, I mean, music's always been good, but just personally speaking, my opportunities here now are sort of a lot, the things are happening now, whereas when I was a bit younger, they weren't happening for me at the time. That's why I left. So yeah, UK was good. Akaka were great. They're a great bunch of guys, and we had a lot of fun. Did a couple of albums with them and played a whole bunch of shows and festivals and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, nice one. That's cool. So I guess, we switch forward to like 2019, 2020, where Werewolves is coming together. I spoke to Sam just over a year ago now when What a Time to Be Alive came out. He was saying that like it's kind of funny, it was a bit of a fun thing that just kind of hit for some reason. Like, is that still sort of the case, do you reckon? Like,
I think it definitely started as a bit of it was just a bit of a laugh, like I mean, he would have told you, and if it's probably a bit well known, but so we started almost as a joke. It's like, fuck it, we'll make an album, we'll make just a fucking brutal album, and then it worked. It's like, fucking hell, it happened, and we did it like in a matter of weeks. And then the joke was to do the second album sort of as quick as possible as well. It's like, we'll see if we can do this one before the first one was released. So we did it. We wrote it, and it was like, fucking hell. So after writing it, then it's like, fucking hell, should we actually try and write another album like before? I think we had a 3-album deal with Prosthetic, and they're great. And it was like, oh, well, let's just write all 3 albums at once. So we sort of did it. It took a while to actually get around to recording the third one, but it started as just a bit of a joke and a bit of a laugh, but it's kind of as the albums have happened and we've written more and done more stuff, it's I guess it's getting a little bit more sort of, I don't know if serious is the right word, but maybe the whole thing's getting a bit more refined now. So we're sort of, maybe we're a bit more on the money with what we're doing and how we're approaching things, Like, I think that this last album, I think it's the next step up. The first one was just a bit of a fluke that it sort of happened, and the second one was like a bit more refined. And this one's just, maybe it's a step up. I mean, we're not putting a great deal of thought into writing the material and mulling over it. It's just get it done next, So it's getting a bit more sort of, the whole process might be getting a bit more streamlined and a bit more focused, maybe. That's probably the best way of putting it.
Yeah. But still, still brutal, it's still fun to listen to. Like, yeah. I like how the opening track, you got that sample, it sounds all serious, and the guy goes, fuck it, and then you guys go like, it's real, like, yes, Yeah.
Well, that's a sort of a thing, like, I think because the music was because it just seems to turn out so obnoxious, which is quite funny. Like, the lyrics are all pretty sort of abrasive and, kind of darkly humorous. And, the songs and just the mix and everything, like the whole thing sounds so horrible and violent that it's like, we can, get in all these obnoxious, quite horrible samples and stuff to sort of highlight it even further. Then so that was a good one. And then there's a few others littered throughout, as there was with What a Time to Be Alive as well. So it's just a whole mission to make horrible, obscene music.
That's good. The artwork matches really well too. So from the cave to the graves, but you got like a guy chucking a dead baby or something, and all these bodies. Is that the same artist as the other releases?
Yep. Yeah. Mitchell, he's a Tassie dude. I think he's friends with Dave. Has been for a while, but so he did the first one, and it's like, it was, we were like, fucking hell, that's it, that's perfect. And it's like, well, why change it? The whole idea of this band was that everything was just easy and straight down the line, and we didn't think too much. So it's like, fucking hell, obviously we'll just get the same guy to keep doing stuff.
Yeah.
And he'll do, generally, he'll like, if we'll give him, Sam will give him like maybe the lyrics or stuff to the, a bunch of songs, and he'll sort of take the lyrics and maybe listen to some songs, listen to some of the music, and just go, oh, cool, I've got a bit of a vibe, you know. Or Sam might tell him, you know, maybe somewhat of an underlying message, which is, you know, never anything too clever. It's always hatred and violence and death and horror and all that, you know, all the good stuff. And yeah, he'll do up, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 different sort of rough sketches, and we'll all pretty much agree on, oh, we'll do that one. You know, that one's cool. And then he'll just work on it, refine it, and yeah, it always looks cool. So it turned out good. The baby was a bit grim, but you know, it's the whole thing's a bit grim, so it all works. It's good.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Cool. So also this year you guys released the death metal EP with a couple of, you got Deicide and Marduk covers on there.
Yep.
What made you decide those 2 tracks? Are those ones that you play live or something? Like,
I think so. Me and Dave. Well, I'm a fucking massive Marduk fan, and like that song is probably like my favorite, one of my top favorite songs of like all time. You know.
Yeah.
So and there's like we like the like that Panzer Division album, like the fact that it just blasts all the time, it's like fucking, it's genius. So yeah, we sort of did that EP was a bit of a I think it sort of came about because we had tracked I can't remember if the covers were done, I don't know, I can't remember what happened. Anyway, we had recorded some songs or whatever. Maybe Dave recorded the drums for those 2, and yeah, we just, because we weren't playing, it's all in the middle of COVID and nothing was happening, so we were never going to be playing any shows at the time, and the next album was going to be, you know, a year away before we could release it. And we're like, well, we had a word to the label, and they were pretty cool, and they gave us some advice, and we're like, well, fuck it, we'll just release a fucking EP, you know, we'll do those 2 covers and just a couple of originals as well. Yeah, Dave suggested the Deicide. I think it's probably one of his favorite Deicide songs, and yeah, I was like, well, we'll do the Marduk, and then we'll do a couple of originals, and pretty cool. Turned out good. So yeah, it was something to sort of fill the gap between the 2 albums, seeing as we couldn't play or couldn't really do anything at the time.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, looks like you guys are playing now, right? Like June 25th at Crowbar. You got a show coming up. That's good news. You've been you know, jamming again and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we've had a few sort of rehearsals. So me and Dave are in Melbourne and Sam's in Adelaide. So he came over maybe a month or so ago, and we did some rehearsals, and we did a film clip and photo shoot, try and get a bunch of things done when we're all sort of together at the one time.
Sure.
So yeah, we've got a set together, and we've been jamming it, and it's sounding pretty good, you know. I think that the whole thing with live is we didn't really think too much about it at first. It was just the idea was to make these albums and just be ridiculous, you know, be fucking crazy heavy. And seeing as everything is kind of just, everything we've sort of dipped our toes into has kind of turned out well. Like everything's been somewhat of a success. And it's like, well, you know, this is all pretty good. Maybe we should think about playing live. So we got a set together and rehearsed, and it's like, well, it sounds pretty good. So yeah, we'll book some shows and sort of see how things go. So we've got the Sydney one with that's with Psychroptic, and we've got a Melbourne one like the week after that on I think the 8th of June or July, sorry, and that's with a Bremlin. So it's a double whammy for me, Dave, which should be interesting. I'm sure he'll suffer from hitting the snare fucking a million times in one night.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's a couple of other things that are sort of booked in. There's a Froth and Fury later in the year in Adelaide, so that'll be great. Yeah, and there's a couple of other things in the pipeline, but they're not sort of confirmed or whatever yet. So
okay.
It's good. If everything goes well, we'll probably do more and maybe try and take an extra step up. But you know, one thing at a time, I guess. See how the first ones go.
Yeah, fair enough. Any chance you'll make it over to WA?
I hope so. Yeah, I think your borders are open again, aren't they?
Yeah. All ready to get you in here, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like if it happens, if we can make it happen, then absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So the album comes out June 24th, From the Cave to the Grave. You're talking about music videos and stuff. What can we look forward to seeing, around the release date and everything?
Well, we've got. I'm not sure if I'm. All this label sort of stuff. I don't know
Sure.
But we've got at least one. Well, we've got one that'll be coming out sort of either when the next single is released or when the album's released. I'm not sure which way they're doing it, but yeah. So we've got one clip coming out for sure, and we'll probably do another one. We've done a couple of sort of budget ones over the last couple of albums that have turned out okay. So we might do another one of them. So yeah, it's good. The one we've filmed so far, it's turned out really well. So yep, it's exciting times.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. And you were saying before, you kind of wrote 1, 2, 3. Is there more stuff in the bank? You've been writing for number 4 already?
Well, funnily enough, we when we recorded number 3, we actually recorded the 4th one at the same time.
Okay.
So we had written, we wrote the 3rd and 4th album, and well, we've actually written more. I think we've got like 5 or so. I've kind of lost count. It's a bit silly actually. But I think we've got another. So the 4th album's already been recorded except for vocals, and the 5th and the 6th I think we've written, and there might be another weird thing that we've written as well. I can't. Anyway, it's the main point is that when we just to try and keep the costs down, it's like, well, we'll go to the studio and we'll just do 2 at once. So yeah, it was pretty full on. The real genius is Sam. Like, it's kind of easy for me and Dave because he lives in the studio and does stuff all the time, so he's on the money in that department.
Cool.
And I sort of write most of the stuff, so it's kind of easy for me. But yeah, so Sam came over from Adelaide and he recorded the bass for like 18 songs in 2 days, and it was more the fact that he managed to store 18 songs worth of riffs and noise in his brain. So he did it. I don't know how he keeps it up there, but he managed to do it. So yeah, the 4th one's the only thing that we're waiting for is just to track the vocals, because we probably could have done vocals in 6 months ago or 9 months ago when we finished it, but I think he likes to just, if he does one and leaves it for a while, it gives him a bit of time to sort of see what's happening in the world and build up a bit more fury about things and get a bit more inspiration by the state of the world at the moment. So yeah, so that one will be he's written everything, so he'll probably track vocals for that in coming months maybe. So yeah, it's good. It's so the 4th one will sound just the same as the 3rd one, is what I'm trying to say. hopefully it'll be better, but yeah. More of the same. There ain't no sort of progression. Nothing's, there's no acoustic guitars. There's no fucking keyboards. It's the same thing over and over, which is good. I like it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, so do I. Man. It's good. Cool. Look, Matt, thanks heaps for your time. Hopefully we'll see you guys over here at some point. But yeah, good luck with the shows and everything, eh?
Cool, man. Much appreciated.
Cool. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers.